Good evening and welcome to Star Drive on Star 103.5 FM. My name is Kwaku Sakyi-Addo and my guest is Bola Ray.
Kwaku, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to my show.
Thank you very much, sir. And glad to have you here on my show as well.
I thought it was my show.
Oh man, and
I think we're going to have a fight on this show today.
You know, I know, and that's why it's called the STARR CHAT. You know, we'll get to sit down, relax in a great atmosphere, and get to know each other. And for me, having you as my first guest on this maiden edition is heartwarming, it's refreshing as well, because I've longed, to do this. And I'm glad.
It's my honor to host you.
And I'm glad that I'm getting the chance to do that. Today will go down 24th September 2014, and I say thanks so much for joining me right here. Yes, in the studio. You can have your tea and all of that. It's all good. Why you have it? Is it coffee?
No, it's tea.
It's tea.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Why'd you love that?
It's warm and it's good for my throat.
It's good for your throat.
Yeah.
You seem to have this. I don't know. Ever since from front page, I listened to you, and it's like the croaky voice. You seem to have lost your voice at a point, and what is it? What is it with the Kwaku Sakyi-Addo and his voice?
I have a loose voice box, so when the studio gets too cold, it bothers my throat, and then I have to keep coughing.
Interesting. I'm getting to hear this and know this for the first time.
So the treatment for that is tea. It's something warm.
It's something warm.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm having tea.
So what, you do that routinely?
I'm sorry?
You do that routinely? You do that
if I have to speak in a cold environment, then I have to warm my throat.
How then do you manage that when you get to travel to areas where the temperature, of course, it's cold? I must have it.
I must have something warm or hot to drink.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've actually wondered with people like yourself, with what you do, that you don't have the problem that I have.
I'll share the secret with you off air anyway.
I see. Okay. and I've actually been. I'm supposed to have learned to speak from my stomach.
That's correct. That's correct.
I haven't managed to learn. So
wow.
I suppose
it's interesting, and it's refreshing, like I said earlier on, to have you right here as our first guest on STARR CHAT. It's a weekly program. It's going to happen every Wednesday, where we celebrate the lives and achievements of great people, but not just individuals, but also companies as well. We're going to have maybe, let's say, the Telecom Chamber come through and say, tell us about your achievements, how far you've come. Great companies in Ghana, we want to bring them out to share their stories with us. So, hey, if you're out there, you've been inducted into the Star Hall of Fame, Kwaku Sakyi-Addo will go down history as the first person to, be inducted into the Star Hall of Fame.
I'm honored. I'm thrilled to be here.
And we're excited to have you.
And you have a wonderful place, actually.
Thank you very much, Kwaku. Thank you very much.
Looks like you've got a great team
yes.
on 2 or 3 floors, and wow. I understand you're threatening to take over the entire town.
Wow.
Not just the building, not just the neighborhood.
Now, Kwaku, you're taking this to another level.
The town.
The town. Thank you very much. And it's exciting to have you right here. So if you're a company out there, like I said, and you want to be on and share your success story with us, if you're an individual, if you know somebody that you want us to celebrate, you want us to, hear their story, this is the platform. And it's not just, coming out there to get to know you, but we chat. We talk about everything that happens in our nation and globally as well, like we'll be doing this evening. So, Kwaku Sakyi-Addo, great journalist and Chief Executive Officer of the Telecoms Chamber. Wow. First guest on STARR CHAT. Glad to have you, Kwaku.
Thank you.
What's your day like today? Tell me.
Today I started with first, went by the office, but I think the key things that happened today was that I had a 2.5-hour meeting at the Ministry of Communications with the Deputy Minister of Communications, Mr. Sapong, to discuss some policy initiatives that the ministry is considering, and wanted inputs from the industry, so all of the legal and regulatory and some of the finance and tax officers of the network operators met with the ministry and to get clarifications on the policy initiatives, so that we can also know what sort of inputs to make in order that what the government implements in the end is the best for everyone.
So your input very much needed, and many have said that you are very vocal, and thumbs up. Great job that you're doing at the Telecoms Chamber, because you're pushing it, and you're saying that, hey, when it comes to types, when it comes to the right things, this is how it's supposed to be done. I've read materials from you, you know, a lot of stuff that you've written as well. I was having a chat with somebody when I said I was going to get you on the show. He says, you know, maybe this guy should head a consumer protection unit right here in Ghana, because he does that so well and with ease and with passion, and that's important. Where do you derive that from? The love to do something and not just do it, but to do it well, Kwaku.
Well, I mean, I'm passionate about the things I do because I don't like making compromises. I don't like making personal compromises where I shouldn't make them. So I commit to do the things that I believe in. And so, yes, I do, you know, I represent the chamber, which comprises the mobile phone operators. And I think sometimes people confuse the chamber with the NCA. The NCA, which is the National Communications Authority, is the referee of the industry. That's the regulator. The chamber represents the mobile phone operators and infrastructure companies, which include the tower companies, ATC, Helios, and so on, to whom the tower services have been outsourced from the mobile phone operators. But, you know, I think that we should just step back for a minute whenever we talk about the telecom operators and ask, okay, what do these guys do for me? What do they deliver to me or for me? And today, everyone has got a handset in their hand or a tablet. We've got the number of connections we have are in excess of 28 million.
That's huge.
In a population of just over 24 or 25 million. It's one of the highest penetration rates in Africa. And everyone has got this in their hand. The mobile phone is become an extension not just of our body but of our brain. You know, the South African athlete Oscar Pistorius, when he wakes up in the morning, what do you think is the first thing he reaches out for?
His mobile phone?
No.
Which one?
His legs. His prosthetic legs. Because it's part of his body.
An extension of it.
Right. When we wake up in the morning, what's the first thing we reach out for?
A mobile phone?
Our mobile phones. It's become a part of our body. It's become an extension.
That's right.
So it's become a prosthesis, a prosthetic body part. Wow. So, and that's why when you've misplaced your phone, you realize that within 5-10 minutes after you separated from it, within 10 minutes because you need it all the time. It's like a body part.
Okay.
But as I said, even more importantly, it's an extension of our brain. It's become, you know, when you buy a memory device and you attach it, you know, an external memory drive. Our phones have become that, because without it, you don't know the phone numbers of your contacts. Without it, you don't know the email addresses of your contacts. Without it, you don't have your pictures and your videos. Without it, you don't have the album or the video from the party of your wife's birthday or your child's outdooring or the wedding you went to the other time. You don't have your documents. You don't have anything.
You know, that's an interesting twist. And for me, I'm waking up to that reality. With you breaking it down, I'm beginning to picture that. I'm saying, wow, Kwaku is right.
Right. And that's why if you don't have your device for a couple of hours, you cannot function, because part of your brain is being separated from
Is that good or bad, Kwaku?
It's unavoidable. I mean, it's reality today.
Okay.
All right, that's the reality today. I mean, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you could remember phone numbers, right, off the top of your head. We've outsourced that to this device. and is doing all of that for us.
Interesting. It has its good sides, and certainly that's not the subject matter. But
Right.
many have said, "Oh, okay, so it's ruining, marriages and all of that." I had somebody complaining and said, "My partner is almost always on his phone. Even when it's 10 p.m., I want to chat with him. He comes home around 9:30. We want to have a chat, and he's responding to emails, chatting with friends. He's on WhatsApp. He's on BBM, and you're like, wow."
Yeah.
Maybe a good servant, but a bad whatever that you want to put it.
I think we all, it's supposed to be a servant, and we should let it serve us. We should not let it rule us. Right? So we've got to manage it. Yeah, we've got to learn to manage its use. I know people get into trouble sometimes. I've had people say, when people want to blame telecom operators for, they say poor quality of service. I made a call and they crossed over and if it's a guy, he says, a lady picked it up and almost ruined your marriage. If any marriage that gets ruined by that kind of thing already had problems.
Really?
I mean, if that can ruin your marriage.
That's debatable, Kwaku.
If your marriage can get ruined because you made a call, and if we agree that this happens sometimes, why should your marriage be ruined because of that? Then it means your marriage already
issues.
Absolutely.
Wow, interesting. I mean, talking about management between you, the regulator, the operator, and the customer. That's a difficult job that you are handling and doing so well. Because trying. But then, hey, so far so good in our estimation. How are you able to keep that balance and do that so well, Kwaku?
I mean, it's an ecosystem. You need the regulator. You've got the regulator makes the regulations. You've got the government that makes policy. You've got the consumers that use it. I think the key party, the key stakeholder in that whole milieu is, in fact, the consumer, because this is really all about the consumer. The service that we give there would be no need for it if there was no consumer. So it's about the consumer, and everything that the mobile phone operators do is really about getting more consumers, getting subscribers, keeping them, growing them, making them happy, and the good thing is they are in competition. I mean, maybe apart from media, there's no other industry that is as competitive as mobile the mobile networks,
right?
Mobile phone companies or the business. You've got 6 operators, but actually now you've got, if you like, 9, because you've got the 4G companies as well. All right, in the market of 24 million people with what per capita incomes of $1,500 or so, that's a really tough market, and that's why there's a lot of promotions, because because in a crowded market you need to call attention to yourself, otherwise you lose your shelf.
Okay.
And
to stand out. Well, interesting stuff, and we'll get into your business and all of that and what you're doing at the Telecoms Chamber. But let's get to meet you, Kwaku. You grew up where? Where were you born?
I was born in Accra.
Oh, really? Uyogawa?
Oh, a few. Son.
But you received your
enough to
elementary education in a Presbyterian boys.
Yes,
boarding
I
school.
went to I was born in Accra, but I went to school. I went to primary school.
Boarding school?
Yes, I went to initially. I went to primary school in Ekropong.
Okay.
It was a day school, Ekropong Demonstration Primary School, which is attached to the Presbyterian Teacher Training College, which is the oldest educational institution in Ghana, established in 1848.
Wow.
So I was living with my aunt and my grandmother, because my parents, especially my father, was a civil servant, worked with the Ministry of Education, got transferred from one part of the country to the other, and he didn't like the idea that I would have to go to a different school every couple of years. Thought that kind of instability is bad for good education. So I lived with my aunt and my grandma, but I went home to my parents on holidays. When the holidays came up, and then after primary school, I went to Ebri Presbyterian Boys Boarding School, otherwise known as Amanfo.
Amanfo.
Yes, that's the nickname. That's the nickname. No, it's not.
It's not.
It's not. The buildings are there, but I think it's a technical institute now.
What happened? Bothered to find out?
It's some kind of evolution. It became a junior secondary school, and subsequently, it got metamorphosed into a technical school.
In Ebri?
It's still in Ebri. Same place, same location. You. And so I did a year in Ebri Boys, and then I went to Achimota School through O levels.
Let's talk about life at Achimota School. You entered which year?
In 1970.
1970?
Yep.
No, come on. I mean, you're an old folk, but you don't look it. You look like a 21-year-old. And you keep fit because you're into martial arts. I remember when I was on campus at University of Ghana, I heard you owned a gym.
Yes, I did. Yeah,
yes, at Volta Hall.
Yep.
And I was thinking, of all the places, why Volta Hall?
They offered me the space. Don't blame me for it, okay? I wanted space in Legon.
Okay.
They didn't give me space.
Volta Hall did.
The girls gave me space.
Interesting.
You got a problem with that?
Highly patronized. I said, okay, so he's getting all the girls and attention, but it was a good thing back then. Certainly, I don't know whether you still run that.
No.
Okay.
It wasn't doing well. People came there, used it, wasn't.
My friends were just taking things.
So I sold equipment. Actually, sold equipment to Volta Hall. I don't know what they did with it subsequently.
Right. Let's stay with Achimota School. Motown it is. So from Gambaga to Accra, from Riaso to
Keta.
Wow. 1970. Wow. Long time ago. Tell us about Achimota School back then.
I think Achimota, when I drive by, through Achimota Village, the police station, and down the flyovers to the Accra Kumasi Road, I mean, this place used to be a quiet place. And when we went into town and we got off at Achimota Village, which is where the intersection is now, you did the walk to school because you couldn't get transport.
Really?
But the buses run. The Omnibus Service Authority number 15 run, and it run on time. Yeah.
No, this is striking. You had a bus
number
system,
15.
service system that was running efficiently.
Yes. And
So
it came on time.
Came on time, just like we have the London transport.
Just like it happens in London.
Really?
It came on time.
In the 70s?
Absolutely. You stood by the roadside or on campus. The last stop was Anumle. Right. Okay. So it would come through to Anumle, and if you're going into town on a Saturday, you had next yard, you stood there on time, the 3:15 bus or the 1:15 bus, it came on time, and you got on, you paid, and you went, and you got on the bus to come back on time. Things worked in the 70s, and I suppose
you miss those days. When you look at the system now, you're like, wow. Because everybody talks about the good old days, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
What was it like?
I know it was, as I said, the environment was serene. You didn't have all of this traffic going. I mean, the whole picture of bumper to bumper traffic along the golf course or along the fringes of the golf course could not have been imagined 30 years ago.
What was the picture like? Was it a forest? Was it?
It was quiet. It was serene. You had the occasional car coming through. You had buses from University of Ghana. They had a bus running as well. University of Ghana Medical School and Gimpa also had buses running as well. So those were essentially the buses that run. You had a few trotros, and then you had the golf players, members of the golf club. It was a quiet, serene environment.
Achimota School was the big deal. I mean, you had a swimming pool there as well.
Swimming pool. We played cricket. I mean, the cricket pitch is still the national cricket. Well, they call it cricket oval. The cricket oval is still the national cricket oval. We played hockey. There was volley. There was cross country.
Wow.
Of course, there was football. We had a great athletics pitch. We had like 4 football.
Which house were you?
Initially I was in house 12.
Okay.
Which is on the western compound, because there are 2 compounds. But I went to Gemfi House in Form 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Form 3 then to Form 5, right?
Right. Yeah.
You had the chance to hold any position back in school? No.
No, I didn't. I did sport.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did sport. I run cross country. I played hockey.
You had a nickname back then?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. It was in Accra High School that I got a nickname.
Hisco?
Yes,
Okay.
that's where I did my 6th form. That's where I got a nickname.
We'll come back to that. But at Achimota School, I mean, Co-Educational Institute, I think that you had a girlfriend back then. I did my research.
Oh,
Is she
really?
still around?
Who?
Who was that girl that called you? I mean, fanciful young man coming up and all of that. How was it like? Jumpy house, you look good, you dressed well. Surprisingly, you're in the cadets though.
No, I wasn't in the
Okay.
cadet. No, I wasn't in the cadet. Of course, I would be. I mean, as a normal, healthy boy, with heterosexual tendencies.
Why not?
Of course, I was attracted to a couple of girls in my class and out of my class as well. But I'm proud to say that I left Achimota School a virgin.
A virgin?
Yeah,
That's big news.
Even
Form 5.
Even if we pretended not to be. Boys like to pretend that.
But
they
you
want
left
to not.
Achimota School a virgin.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Wow. At this time, I will actually invite you.
I was a good boy.
Good boy. I mean, I can tell.
I was a good boy.
Our WhatsApp line is 0262 518 268. It's right here on Star FM 103.5. Our guest is the CEO of the Telecoms Chamber, Kwaku Sakyi-Addo, is right here with us. And well, we're moving on. We have lots of messages for you, Kwaku.
Really?
I mean, and that is great. So you moved to a high school, Accra High,
Yes.
black and white.
Yes.
Kwaku Alobite, they call you.
Kwaku Alobite.
And
yeah,
yet-
it was a day school, but we were the pioneer 6th formers.
Oh, okay. Which
And,
year was this? 71?
76,
77?
77.
77, yeah.
77. But the 6th formers were boarders.
All right.
So it was just the boarders that were. Sorry, it was just the 6th formers that lived on campus. It was different from Achimota School. You know, Achimota School is big. It's huge, and Accra High School is a lot more compact, and there's a bit more, if you like, freedom, which I'm not sure was necessarily a good thing.
Really?
Yeah, because
Why?
where rules are a little lax, boys will break them.
You got involved with some naughty stuff?
I got in trouble a couple of times.
Like what? You did what?
I got in trouble. I got suspended.
Oh.
For a very long time. I got suspended for 9 weeks, and it was actually not. It wasn't because of something I did.
What happened, Kwaku?
Okay, so we were upstairs, 3 boys, and it was prep time. We were late for prep. The housemaster came round to inspect and make sure that all of us had gone to prep. But we were late, so we went upstairs to hide, okay, till the housemaster would leave, so we didn't get caught. And of course, because we're hiding, we turned off the lights. While we were there, we saw a girl come up, and we asked her who, what she was doing there. She was not a student. She had come from outside, and she told us whom she had come to see. But of course, because the housemaster was on an inspection, the guy had asked her to come and hide upstairs. So we let her sit down. Unfortunately for us, the housemaster came upstairs.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I don't know whether somebody prompted him or whether he heard voices, but he came upstairs and found 3 boys
With a girl.
and a girl whom I didn't even know.
Tell us the truth and look me straight in the eye. You sure?
Please take off your glasses and
I
take
will.
off mine.
Oh, this is something else. Wow.
So
you knew nothing about
absolutely. But as you know, back then, there no questions asked, and received a
9
letter.
weeks. That's close to a term.
Absolutely.
That must have affected your A levels. I mean,
yeah,
it did.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. So a day or two later, we receive a letter that you're suspended for 9 weeks. I was the president of the SRC, and so the other students got together to try to kind of create a bit of upheaval
in support of
exactly in support of myself and the two other guys. In the end, the gentleman that the girl came to see, he got a much longer suspension than we did, because they eventually found out.
So the authorities, I mean, they got to know the truth. Why didn't they come back to you?
They just didn't. They didn't believe that we didn't have anything to do with it.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, but
how did you take that in all of that? And that really is a part of life that you look back and say, hey, don't judge people. Walk a mile in their shoes.
Absolutely. I mean, I went home and I told my parents the facts, the truth. And my other colleagues, we were there. We knew the truth. The gentleman that the girl came to visit knows the truth, to today, and he's still alive somewhere in Accra. Wow. But I think the lesson in this is that I think that school authorities, not just school authorities, as parents, as supervisors of younger people, I think we've got to learn to be gentler with young people. And also, listen sometimes, listen to them too, and not judge too quickly.
You know what? I'm teary-eyed because I can identify. One day I'll share my story, and I think we have a similar path. Yes, we'll cross.
I'll tell you a quick story about a guy in Achimota School who found himself in a similar circumstance. But he was alone with the girl.
Okay.
All right. He managed to escape. Okay. If he had been caught, he would have been sacked. He managed to escape. He went on to become a surgeon.
Wow. Oh. Now that is deep.
So, young people will do silly things. As they'll do the things that young people do.
The approach, the how is important.
Yeah.
Kwaku, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
And how are you doing, sir?
Very well, thank you.
You're most welcome. You're on STARR 103.5. My guest is Kwaku Sakyi-Addo. And what's your name, sir?
My name is Kwame Sakyi.
Chairman, we want for you to surprise our august guest right here on STARR FM. Our big brother is right here, Kwaku Sakyi-Addo. And what do you want to say?
You should be in bed preparing for your show tomorrow.
Aha.
I know, but I'm enjoying your conversation. The only thing I'd like to ask is, what was his nickname in Accra High School?
Okay.
Oh my God.
And that's what we're going to do. We allow our listeners and our folks to ask the questions. So that's it. Kwame.
Why? How much are you going to pay me, Kwame?
Well, if you don't tell me now, I'll find out eventually. You know that. And then I'll drop your English name as well, if you haven't told them already.
Please do, Kwame.
Oh, you must not do that.
Okay, I shall not do that. Now tell me your nickname.
Pirate.
Pirates.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew it was Pirate. I just wanted to hear him say it.
My nickname was the Pirate.
Kwame, we're celebrating one great, fellow right here in the studios. What do you want to say about Kwaku?
Bola, it's so exciting that you have one of my favorite all-time journalists in your studio.
Oh.
It's unfortunate that the journalism has lost and corporate Ghana has gained. And he said he went to Achimota School in 1970. I had a good laugh because that's the year I was born.
Yes. and the time he left for Accra High in 77, lower
I was
6.
7 years old and I was in class.
That's when I was born.
But I just want to tell you, Kwaku has been such a brilliant big brother. He is not only a role model for those of us who started our job when he was right there shining, but he's been there like a brother and a friend. And all I can say is, Kwaku, more grease to your elbows.
Kwame, thank you.
I'll continuously say this. Please go back and write.
I hear you.
We miss it. I think Kwaku Sakyi-Addo is one of the most brilliant writers we've ever had in this country when it comes to the field of journalism. And as I mentioned earlier, journalism has lost, corporate Ghana has won. But somebody tell Kwaku, please take out a column, write again.
Are we going to do that? We want the answer right here on the show. Kwame, before you go, we want him to answer that. Kwaku, are we going to actually get to experience that?
I'll definitely give it a serious consideration.
All right. Kwame.
Issue. Yes, Bola.
Chairman General, I salute you, sir.
I appreciate this very wonderful phone call. Thank you so very much.
Most welcome.
Thank you very
much.
You. And catch you on the other side tomorrow morning.
That's what it is. Kwame, thank you very much. And a lot of messages coming. This one says your guest is one of the people that I love to listen to. He speaks so well, and that's what I'm coming to. I mean, Ebri to Achimota School. Tell us about the foundation. I mean, you speak so well, impeccable.
Language is important. I think that my father used to say to me that he thought I would study linguistics. This was, I don't know, when I was like in Form 1 or Form 2. In Achimota School, we did German. We studied German, the German language. Okay. And I did very well in the languages, in English and literature and French and German. And my father thought that I would study linguistics. I love to communicate.
Okay.
I think language is beautiful. All languages, Tree, Ga. I mean, you just look at our proverbs and the things and how they capture, a philosophy.
You write Tree?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yeah, I write Tree. I read Tree. Yes, I grew up in Tree. Yes, I write. I read Tree. Yes. Wow. Yeah. Wow. So language is beautiful, and I think that. It's maybe the greatest gift to mankind. We are the only species that speaks.
We'll come to that, and we have a call on the line. But before we do that, this one says, "I'm loving your interview session with the great Kwaku Sakyi-Addo. Kudos to him." And that's from Pastor Nick with Assemblies of God. He says hi.
Thank you very much, Pastor Nick.
God bless you. And God's will says that. Ask him, Bola. We're all listening to you in my neighborhood. We have gathered around, a place that we're just around the radio, and we love this interview. Gospel wants to know: do you miss radio?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes. What's the feeling like? I mean, yes, you are there, the big man at Telecoms Chamber. Tell us.
There are days when I've got things on my chest, and it's fermenting, and it's dying to be spat out, and I have to keep it in, and it's and it can be frustrating, there are days when you got so much in your chest that your chest hurts. And
when it happens, what do you do? we don't want your chest to, what do you do when it happens? Like,
I find relief or release in on stressful days, in exercise and running and all of just let it out.
Just let it out. Okay.
Yeah, let it out through other means.
May we get to meet your family? You've been married for how many years?
I've been married. Depends. I met my wife 25 years ago.
Wow.
We were friends for 3 years. Not that I wasn't interested, but she had somebody else.
Okay.
So we're friends for 3 years, and then.
So while you were waiting for the other person to get off, and you
I was hoping that he would.
And it happened.
Things happen. I just, I'm a marathoner. I'm not a sprinter.
I love you for that.
I'm a marathoner. So you just keep on, and you hang in there.
Yeah.
If you really, if you mean what you say about
you go for it,
then you hang on. So we're friends for 3 years, and then we dated for 1 year and 3 months, and we got engaged for 1 year and 9 months. Actually, then we dated for 1 year. We lived together for another year.
Oh, you lived together?
Yes, we lived together for another year.
Is that the right thing to do, Kwaku?
It works for me. It worked for me.
Living together before you get married?
Yes, we did. Yeah. We lived together.
You got intimate?
We lived together. And then we were engaged for a year and 9 months. And then we got married, after that.
Okay.
And then we had a baby 2 years after that.
Wow.
On my wife's birthday.
Wow.
December 31st, on her great-grandmother's birthday. So
how many kids?
I've got 3 children.
3?
Yeah, so my first is Ophabia, and my second is Ohene. Kofi was a boy. Himself a black belt.
Really? Yes, we'll get back and talk about martial arts.
Oh,
but good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, and how are you doing, Tilly?
I'm very good, Bola.
That's
Thank
Matilda
you.
Asante Asiedu on the line.
Oh, that's Matilda.
Yes.
Hello, Matilda.
Hi.
What
a
are
lot
you-
of interesting details that I didn't know before.
Oh, yes.
Thank
Oh,
you,
yes.
Bola.
Bola Ray extracted everything. He extracted everything out of me.
Matilda, we're celebrating Kwaku right here on Star FM.
He made what's private public this evening.
You know, one great man. What do you want to say to him, Matilda?
Well, I think he's been an inspiration for me, and I'm sure for many, many people who chose the path of communications and journalism. And he was, very instrumental, even though we don't get to talk about it much, in shaping my style, my delivery, and my presentation, and what I stand for. Basically, he always used to tell us that it's the government that takes its taxes, so they're the ones that you hold responsible. And I think that was a very exciting and interesting guiding principle in our profession. So he's been a great leader, a great inspiration, and a good friend too, a senior colleague from whom we learn little things and run through every now and again when we're unsure where to go, looking for direction.
The host of Agenda. You've captured it so well.
Thank you, Matilda. You're a senior colleague as well. You're also senior now.
You see?
Tilly, thank you very much, Tilly, for joining us. And one day we'll get you into our studios, into our Star Hall of Fame. Kwaku is the first, so we'll do that and we'll induct you
It's
today.
understandable.
Why
they
not?
Are trailblazers, so they have to take the
Thank you, Tilly.
You're very kind, Matilda. Thank you.
Matilda Asante Asiedu there. An interesting stuff right here on Star. And a lot of messages coming in on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at star1035FM. Instagram, yes, send us the pictures, and we're doing that as well at star1035FM. Follow us, or of course, like us on Facebook, star1035FM. CEO of the Telecoms Chamber is right here with us, Kwaku Sakyi-Addo. Kwaku, and Fifi Banson has a message for you as well. Oh. And he says hi, and he wants to know. He says, at the time he was hosting the front page as well as Kwaku One-On-One, I would just listen to his intros, which were more poetic, and then wait for his interview skill. He inspires me a lot. And you're into poetry as well.
Thank you very much, Fifi. Good to hear from you. You're very kind to have sent that through. Yeah. Well, I kind of liked. I like to script. Like when I'm going to do my show, whether on front page on radio or on television, Kwaku One-On-One, I scripted my intro because it helped to guide the course of the interview as to where I'm starting, where I am in by the first break or the second break, and how I wrap up. So it helped me to map the conduct of the interview. So I used the preparatory time. I used the preparation of the intro to ponder the interview.
And you had control. No matter who was, in the seats, you had control.
Really?
And the camera angles and all of that with your, eyes rolling, and I'm like, wow, this is it.
I'd like to give tribute to Uncle Wallace Bambo.
Wow.
Who unfortunately passed away recently. He died from throat cancer. He was the director of Kwaku One-On-One, and he was responsible for those chokers, those tight shots of the guests especially. He was a great artist. and he lived for those for those shots. You know, he lived for the craft of yeah.
Because it made it unique. I mean, you're watching a serious program, but the angles and the shots,
Yeah.
it was engaging.
Right. And also, as you noticed, the backdrop was dark. And I like that, and I chose that because then there's no distraction. You know, flowers and bottles.
No,
and,
you're artistic by nature.
you know.
I mean, and we want you to introduce Kwaku One-On-One for us, or the front page on. So you have the microphone. It's your show. We're celebrating you. STARR CHAT. Kwaku is all yours.
Welcome to Kwaku One-On-One. My guest this evening is Bola Ray, and he's going to tell us what his nickname was when he was in school.
Certainly, Bola Ray. I have somebody on the line for you, sir. Hello and good evening. Welcome. You're on STARR FM,
You know,
sir.
I'm actually confused.
Good
Your
evening.
nickname
Thank
with
you,
your
Bola.
real name.
Yes, sir. Lawyer Egbert Fable. How are you?
Oh my God.
I'm good, Bola.
Kwaku Sakyi-Addo is our guest here, right
Yes.
on STARR FM. And shoot, Egbert, Chief Magas. I would like to call you my chief.
Yes, definitely. Has Kwaku Sakyi-Addo told you that his nickname is Pirate?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
You're
good.
too late.
Okay.
I fessed up myself.
Okay. But anyway, Bola, I mean, I think that it is good that we celebrate Kwaku Sakyi-Addo.
Sure.
My first connection with or to Kwaku Sakyi-Addo was in 1988. I had just left Form 5 and was waiting for my results to go to Sixth Form. And I think then he was working with the Ghana News Agency. And he was hosting this program on GTV. Is it Leaders of Tomorrow?
Builders of today.
Builders of Today. And you know what? I that was the first time I watched that program. And you know, he had as his guest two young men. I mean, then one of them is today Dr. Adika of the English Department of Lagos. And my recollection of that show was that Dr. Adika, then Mr. Adika, and his colleague who appeared had just graduated from Legon with first class honors in English. And this was Kwaku Sakyi-Addo holding his own, of course, as a journalist against these two gentlemen. And that was for me an eye-opener. That was for me a certain foundation that got me on the path that I also later took. And years on, when I went to Legon and happened to be at the English department, I always used to remind Dr. Adika that I have no issues at all reading English, because it is through Kwaku Sakyi-Addo that I got to realize that English language is very important. And today, whether as a lawyer or as a journalist, I just want to say thank you to Kwaku, because that interview really made me realize that language, you know, Noam Chomsky and the rest will tell you that language is a dress of thought. Kwaku Sakyi-Addo, in his own right, has made me realize that you can smith words. Even though language is a dress of thought, you can also smith words. And so years on, I have followed him, even right through to when he became editor of the Chronicle. I was reading the Chronicle and Kwaku Sakyi-Addo's column like a Bible, or like a Bible. I mean, I could read and pick usages and the rest. I mean, Kwaku Sakyi-Addo, if you listen to him or if you read him, you tend to invoke in your own self a certain poetic license that as far as you can go, you can take language and use it to fit whatever circumstances and whatever situation that you find yourself in, provided you don't get your tenses and the grammatical structure wrong.
Very revealing indeed.
Yeah.
And I think that his biography, you should be involved somewhere. I mean, you've captured it aptly, I should put it.
Egbert, thank you very much. You're very kind.
Thank you, Kwaku.
And we'll have to do it when they are alive, when it's not when people are gone that we want to celebrate them. Let's do it while they are alive. And I'm glad that you got the chance to do that right here on STARR FM. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lawyer Egbert Fable there. Chief Magas, we call him. Thank you very much. Kwaku,
Yep.
you have a background in martial arts. Why that interest?
Fitness and good health. Well, fitness enhances good health. So first and foremost, you know, I think everybody should exercise more. I get my exercise from, you know, doing weights,
Right.
running, and doing martial arts. Self-defense is important.
And you still get the time to do that? No.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's very good exercise. I mean, it's you're exercising every part of your body. You're getting aerobic exercise as well. Yeah, it comes with discipline.
Right.
I'll recommend it to everybody.
So which belt? Guess we shouldn't mess with you right in the studio, right? Black belt.
Yes, I am a black.
Wow. So you know Chuchum Saji Chumbe and they do
Absolutely.
Ana. Wow. I did.
So you did some.
I did a little bit, but
You should go back to it. Go back to
we
it.
will.
Go back to it.
What has been your greatest challenge in life as a journalist? And as I ask this question, you can also join us. 0302 231144 0302 231145. And we have the former communications director of the MPP joining us, Nana Akomia.
Oh, Nana.
Nana, good evening.
Yes, sir.
And
Bola.
welcome. You're on Star FM. We're celebrating one great man.
Nana, you should be in this seat being interviewed.
Kwaku,
Yes, sir.
well, when I become as big as you, I would agree to be interviewed
Yeah, right.
on Star FM.
Nana,
But,
we're celebrating
Bola,
it. What do you want to say?
Congratulations for having Kwaku
Thank you, sir.
to be your first guest.
Mm.
And like I said, when I become like Kwaku, I would also appear on your show.
Sure. You're most welcome,
But
sir.
I mean, Kwaku is an institution when it comes to media,
Mm.
and everybody who's had any knowledge of him would agree to this. When I was much younger, the biggest thing in private media at that time, I'm talking of the period, the culture of silence type, the period between 1993 up to the 1995 when Joy FM burst on the scene.
Mm.
There wasn't much private media. The biggest private media at that time was the Chronicle newspaper. And it used to come out once a week. And it was the only alternative to the state media. So everybody who wanted to know what was happening in the government at that time would read the Chronicle. And, Kwaku, together with the owner of the paper at that time, Mr. Kumsin, and then Audrey Kajeko and so on, they were the pillars of the Chronicle. And Kwaku actually edited the paper for a year or so. And we read it from front page to back page because it was the only thing that was exciting as far as media was concerned in the period between 1993 and 1995 at that time. And I remember my father, he would buy the Chronicle and park his car and read before we continue the journey.
Oh, really?
And it was that big. Before Joy FM came, and so there was another alternative private media and all of that. And Kwaku and co were the people who were holding it up. I was working with Charles Kofi Buckner, and I was a small boy at that time. And Kwaku was Charles Buckner's friend, my boss's friend. He would come in there, and they would slap each other on the back, and they would go into my boss's office, and then I would make them tea. I don't know if Kwaku remembers.
I remember.
Oh, so you serve him tea?
This is my boss and come and I'll make them tea.
Right.
It was very exciting for me. Kwaku, when Kwaku writes and you are reading it, it's like you are eating cake.
Wow. Oh
And the words, the sentences are delicious. And up to today, if you came into my office, Bola, I have 3 Christmas cards on my office desk. They are quite old. I think one was 4 years ago or 3 years ago, and one was 2 years ago, and then the last year or so. But they are still on my table in my office. And anybody who comes into my office and sees Christmas cards, they say, why do you have these old Christmas cards sitting on your table? And then I'll say, well, take them and look at them. And they will take them and look at them, and they will read all the 3 Christmas cards. Now, all these cards were sent by Kwaku Sakyi-Addo. The reason why
and I've kept those cards 4 years, 3 years, 2 years. It's because they are not the usual Christmas cards where you can find the words in almost every other Christmas card. Kwaku Sakyi-Addo's Christmas card is just a collection of wise sayings and proverbs.
Wow.
So they are timeless.
Timeless.
If you feel down, you take them, you read them, you will find some words of wisdom.
And that's why we're actually saluting him this evening on the show. He's our first guest.
It's a great personality. This gentleman on CNN, he once said that Kwaku Sakyi-Addo is a great broadcaster.
Larry King.
But Larry King didn't do Kwaku justice. Kwaku Sakyi-Addo is not just a broadcaster. He's a full-blown, quintessential journalist.
Thank you. Nana Akomia, the man.
Nana, thank you very much, and I'm happy to hear that the Christmas cards achieved the purpose, because I think that just sending out Christmas cards with the usual season's greetings is quite frankly a waste of resources. And so I thought that you want to send something that people can keep and has a message that extends beyond the Christmas season.
Interesting. And certainly, Sakyi-Addo presented Ghana's longest running radio series, The Front Page, and we say congratulations. I mean, your work has been published in The Economist, The Washington Post, Newsweek, and for this, we induct you into the STARR Hall of Fame. Kwaku, thank you for being our first guest. And, as we wrap up, what do you make of, like they say, journalism in Ghana today?
There's good stuff happening. I came here today and I'm just excited to see what's going on here. There's great stuff happening across the landscape. I look back to 20 years ago and a lot has changed. But there's also, some dark aspects to it that I think needs redress. I think that, I've said before, journalism has a soul. Journalism has a soul. And like you're passionate about the things you do. Journalism is the kind of thing that you've got to be passionate about. And of course, I understand that, people want to make money. But something, integrity also sells.
That's right.
Integrity sells. There are brands that want to be associated with people, programs, shows, and stations that have integrity. And so you can have both. You can do well,
right.
And also you can do well, quote unquote, financially, materially, and have integrity at the same time.
Exactly. Well, we're wrapping up. We just have about 3 more minutes to go. But I have a surprise for you as well. Hello and good evening.
Good evening, sir. My name is Kwaku Sakyi-Addo.
Kwaku Sakyi-Addo.
Hey, KKD. Now,
Kwaku, you're a fabulous.
Where you must be calling from?
Yesterday.
You must be calling from the Caribbean or something.
No, I'm actually on the way to the airport. I'm just heading, unfortunately, towards Denver now.
All right, I thought you were calling from your yacht in the Caribbean.
Kwaku, I came on vacation in Ghana, but I'm heading back to work in London now, and I'm just so delighted to hear you on radio. And I think it's important for Ghanaians to understand that you're one of the few pillars that we have in the news and current affairs industry in all of Africa. It's insufficient to say Ghana. Ghana is too small to hold the talent that you've harnessed and used to serve this country over the years. But then you are one of the few journalists who we can boast of, that we can say is competent enough to serve on the world stage with the best of them everywhere. I have seen your career from its rise through your years at GBT, working on Children of Tomorrow, finding young talents and making them known to this nation, and how you would speak truth to power, how you were fearless in putting your point across, but also how you did it in such a civil manner that even though people disagree with you, they would still listen to you. I think every journalist in this country and everybody who wants to practice in the news and current affairs industry has a lot to learn from Kwaku Sakyi-Addo.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Kwaku.
Thank you very much.
You're very kind indeed. And you're just as qualified to be in this seat, if not more qualified to be in this seat than I am. So thanks for ceding the space.
Wow. Thank you very much, Kwaku recording. And as we wrap it all up, what's your greatest fear in life, Kwaku?
I'm tempted to say death. But it's pointless because it's inevitable.
But you love to fly. I don't like flying, but I hear you love to fly.
I'm not afraid to fly.
Really?
No. Once you're airborne, there's nothing you can do about anything. You're just a passenger. So enjoy the flight. There's no point being afraid.
No matter the turbulence.
I have to confess, on a recent flight from Bangkok in November, I had a scare of my life. On that occasion, I was scared. But usually, there's not too much that frightens me.
Kwaku Sakyi-Addo, Man Enigma, we say thank you, Kwaku.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And people out there, we salute you. We say thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for your ears. Thanks so much for supporting us. And we'll induct Kwaku into the Star Hall of Fame right here on Star Chat. So like I said, it's on every Wednesday between 7 and 8. It's an industry and an institution. Tell us what you're doing. It's all about growth and development and celebrating our achievements as a people. We need to do that. And it said that to be is better than to seem to be. Let's be there for one another. My name is Kwabena Anochi Adisi. Bola Ray. God bless us all.